expect when you go out to resurrect or rescue an old ski? And what do you take with you? I think it's a good time to talk about it because I just finished unloading my truck. I made the longest road trip that I'd made to date to go pick up a winter project. However, I came home empty-handed, and so I was a little disappointed. Probably more so that, it's pretty much a whole day was wasted in a tank of gas. But when I got there, things were not as I expected, or maybe better to say, it wasn't as I anticipated based upon the conversations that I'd had or the messaging that I'd had back and forth. So let's talk about that because, I know enough to not expect a whole lot, and I know enough to not believe everything that you're being told. And so as part of this video, I'm going to show you what I take with me to ensure that, that I can get the ski home. So what happened? Looking on Marketplace, and I found a ski that looked pretty good picture-wise, looked good, so I inquired about it, and so we started messaging back and forth, and so I liked what I was hearing, and so specifically, since this was a longer trip than usual, I asked about the trailer, and I was told the tires are good. I was told the bunks are good. Now, I was told the lights didn't work, but hey, that's okay because I have lights that I always carry with me. So the trailer and everything, that sounded good. I was told a little bit about the ski, that it was that it ran last summer and that it just quit running, but he said probably take very little to get this thing to run, but I just don't have time to fool with it. He said it had a good battery in it and probably just needed good carb cleaning. So, made the trip down there, pulled in, and immediately the first thing I picked up on was the tires were flat on the trailer. Yes. Didn't expect that from good tires. And so I knew when I pulled in, the skis were in front of me and it is sitting on flat tires. So I got out and walked over there, and immediately you could tell the tires were just severely dry rotted. So barely would hold air in the tires. The next thing I was told, as I mentioned, the bunks. Well, one bunk was completely broken, snapped in half underneath the ski. The only thing holding it, I guess, was the brackets and maybe the weight of the ski down on it. So that was another thing that was not, what I was told to be the case. So I moved on to the ski, started looking at the ski, and the battery, it did have a battery in it, but the battery was not good. No big deal. I always carry a battery with me. But once I hooked my battery up to it, nothing was happening, and then it was, oh well, and then here came the other things that why it will not do anything. So, I probably would have brought the ski home if the tires weren't dry rotted and flat. I would have never made the several hour drive home with those tires. And with a busted, broken bunk, I don't know if I would have done that either. Now, I take my own tires, so that wasn't a deal breaker, except my tires would not fit that trailer. So that was that's what happened, and that's why I came home empty-handed. So I thought, let's talk about this for a minute. If you've getting into this, I did a video over the summer of should you buy an old two-stroke jet ski, and basically it was just my story, how I got into it, and hopefully it was encouragement that you didn't have to be mechanically inclined to get into this. And so maybe this is part two, kind of when you go out, what is it what do you expect, or what are you expecting, and what should you take with you? So let's look at that. So the first thing, just don't expect anything, and then you'll be safe. You won't be disappointed. But when you look on like a marketplace, you'll see so many times a ski that has a picture of a ski that's obviously been sitting up for years out next to a shed or a barn, out in a field, whatever. And many times they'll say down in the description, all it needs is a battery, stuff like that. That's, that's not the case. You're not going to stick a battery in a ski that's been sitting for no telling how long. And the ski I went and looked at, I was told that it ran last summer, and I doubt that, just because of the heavy crust and the dirt that was caked on the ski. And that's the case for so many you see on Marketplace, Craigslist, or whatever. There's some funny descriptions out there. You've probably seen some, and if you've gone out to buy an old two-stroke or whatever, you may have run into exactly what I'm talking about, when they're just trying to sell the thing, right? And so, my first thought was, why would you tell somebody that the tires are good, the bunks are good, and try to play it all up when they're going to come out and look at it, and they're going to see that what you said was not true, right? But I guess the only thing I can think of is that they hope that when you get there, you're just going to overlook it and say, well, I'm here, so I might as well take it. I guess that's the case, but I don't know. And I didn't ask. But he did allow me to get some of my tools out and, try to work on it in a sense. I was trying to get it to a point where I could check compression on it. Couldn't do it, didn't do it, and again, that's why I left. But anyway, so many of the descriptions are just not true. And what they're telling you probably is not going to be true when you get there. So really just don't have any expectations. Whatever you're told, just expect it to be different and not be the case when you get there. I was trying to think of some of the other things that I've read of descriptions, and you're looking at the ski in the picture that's sitting in a pile of debris or something, and they put it off as very minimal. And I do think it's funny when they say something like it ran last year, and you could tell it's been parked for years. And there was one that I saw that I can remember. Again, you think, what's going through their mind when there was something like that that it ran when it was parked, and we ran it last year and we parked it. But in the picture, you can see that the trailer is sunk in the ground, telling you that it has been in that spot for a long time, unless they put the ski on the trailer. That's not the ski they, loaded it, unloaded out of water. I'm just being stupid there, but it can be comical sometimes, and I guess that's what you need to expect. Expect when you show up and you get out of your vehicle to maybe shake your head and say, that's not what I thought I was coming to see. But again, that's not really the issue, and those aren't anything that would have kept me from getting the ski. Probably, as I said, the biggest thing was I was a long ways away from home, and I did not want to get stranded on the highway. Big fear of at night being stranded on a highway someplace with a ski. And so anyway, let's move on to the second part. What do you take when you go to pick up an old non-running rescue or resurrection ski? Well, I'll show you what I take. It's it's just what I take, and I'll show you that. I try to take enough to make sure that in cases what I just described, that I can get home. And that's what I try to plan for. So let me take you off the stand. I'll show you what I take with me. You know, this may or may not help. If you're just getting started into this and you're starting to look around for old jet skis, maybe this stuff will give you some pointers, some hints, you know, to take with you to be ready when you arrive and it's not what you thought or not what you expected. So let's take a look at what I take. Okay, so let's look at what I take with me when I go out to pick up an old non-running jet ski. You know, the most important thing that I'm going for, what I want to do, is I want to do a compression check. And if the owner is okay with me messing with it and trying to get it to a point where I can do a compression check, then that's what I'm going to do. If I can find a ski that, even if it hasn't run for a long time, sitting up for a while, if it's got really good compression, then more than likely I'm going to bring the thing home. And so that's my goal. So I carry my compression test kit. And as I mentioned earlier, I was told that the ski I was looking at had a good battery, and it didn't. But that's okay. I always carry a good battery with me. And that way, I'm not depending on a battery being in the ski or even it being a good battery. It doesn't matter. So, if, you know, if you have another ski, pull your battery out or take a battery with you. It doesn't have to be a jet ski battery, but that's always good to take with you. And along those lines, I always take with me some kind of lubricant. Like I take a WD-40 to remove the spark plugs, spray all down into the cylinders. I don't know how long it's been sitting up, so that's why I do that. And just to put that down in there, I take some starting fluid with me to help out in that case. But that's what I'm trying to do when I get there. I also take, like I said, I don't have an order. I take spark plugs with me, and all for that purpose of trying to get it to where I can do a compression check. So, backing up from that, I guess I'll start. I always take a couple of tires with me. Even though I was told the trailer had good tires, I always take extra tires with me. One is already a spare that I take, you know, during the summer when I go to the lake. The other one, I jacked up my trailer, took one of the tires off so that I have two. But I would encourage you to always take tires if you're going to pick up a ski that is already on a trailer. And if you're not taking your own trailer, I would get that to ensure that you're not trying to drive home pulling a trailer with dry rotted tires and end up stuck on the road someplace. So that's a good thing to take. Now, if the tires were good, I always throw in the truck a tire gauge. Over here, I take a portable air tank with me. So either way, I'm covered. I have good tires that I'm taking, or I can air the tires up to the proper pressures. So I just make sure I'm good there in that area to get the thing home. Lights, I was told that the lights didn't work on the trailer. Again, that's not a big deal. I always take spare lights, these portable lights. If you've got, I mean, this would be something good to buy and always carry with you. And so that's what I take, and that's why it didn't matter where the lights worked. So with this, I take a bag of zip ties so I can zip tie this to the frame of the trailer. So I'm always good with lights. Again, I'm not driving at night, pulling a trailer with no lights. I'm always good to go there. So that's some of the things I take. Staying with lights, I take this little headlamp with me. It's got puts out a good light. In case there's any issues or looking around, whatever, you know, if I'm traveling at night, I take that. I take this, and I don't know where I got this. I think it might have been Harbor Freight, but it's thin, so I can put it down in the hull. But if I need to crawl under a trailer, vehicle, whatever, I've got this light, and I love it. I also take a couple of flashlights with me. Can't ever have enough light should you be traveling in the evening. Just moving on here, I always carry with me extra straps. Don't depend on picking up a ski that's been sitting for a long time to be strapped down to the trailer, or that they're even in good shape. In this particular case, when I went, it was just bungee cords on these ski, and they looked to be in bad shape and rotted. So always take extra straps with you. And kind of going back to the tires, taking extra tires. If the trailer has been sitting up a while, there's a good chance the lug nuts could be rusted. So I take my big gun here, and so I'm prepared for that, to get the lug nuts off, get lug nuts back on it. And so I always take that with me. I always take my regular drill with my little adapter bit there, just to make things quicker, to getting nut and bolts, screws off, out, in, whatever. I just throw these power tools into a bag and take them with me. Also, trailer. The times before when I've gone out, these were not a part of the trailer. So always take you a couple of pins with you. These are two different sizes, so one of them is going to fit the trailer. Again, this is just for your added protection and safety. But more than likely, they're not going to be a part of the trailer if it's been sitting up a while. And those are good things to take. And that's about it. There's one thing at the bottom that I take. I did put it up. I always take my car jack. Another good thing that, at least for me, to be able to jack the trailer up. If I do have trouble or issues, I've got that covered. I throw a toolbox in there, and in the toolbox, I've got the old standard duct tape, and I just throw ratchets, sockets, anything that I think I may need, I just toss them in there, and, pretty much good to go. That's about it. All of this stuff I carry just to make sure that I can make it home and have everything I need and not depend on using what is there in whatever condition it is when I arrive there. So I thought there was one other thing, but I think that's it. I carry gloves, obviously the standard. I carry gloves, rags, towels. I carry stuff like that with me as well. All right, so that's it. That's just some of the things that I carry, throw in the truck when I go pick up these skis. So I hope some of this information was helpful. If you're getting into picking up some old jet skis and trying to get them out on the water. So like I said, I hope it was helpful. And as always, appreciate you joining me, and we'll see you next time.